Czekamy. Czasami to się włącza szybciej.
Michi is trying to enter. Could you take him in, please?
And now, yes. Hello, good evening, Sylvia Pets from Sylvia Pets Agency. Good evening, Austria, and good evening, Poland. This is the Steiermark or the Styria wine region presentation with Sylvia Pets and 7 wineries. So you're like Blanche-Neige a little bit, yeah. And 7 wineries, right? Well, hello. Briefly, why today Steiermark? Well, you know, Steiermark is somehow connected to the let's say to the 14th of February and St. Valentine Day. And this is very interesting story. There was a Prince Johannes von Habsburg and a daughter of postman, and they fell in love, and she married him, and she was old, very clever, old and bold, and she was beautiful, and you know, that was very nice story from mid-19th century. Should you know it? And now, Sylvia, let's start. Hello, everybody. I disappear, and this is your time.
And you, yeah, my slides are on. Thank you very much, Piotr. Hello to Poland from Vienna and from Styria, of course. And you will see, like Piotr called me Blanche-Neige, but you will see these wine producers are not dwarfs at all. They're giants in respect of their wines, of course. 2 words from my agency. We founded in 2009, are situated in Vienna, and we are strong in communication, positioning in green events and sustainability. And we do tastings and online tastings like this. Our clients are mainly producers, wine producers, and some gastronomy and good food producers. Next slide, please. Yes, welcome to Styria. Most of you will know Styria is a federal country in Austria, and it is in the south eastern part, and you can see it marked Steiermark in green. It is about more than half of the federal state's area planted with vineyards. We do have in about 5,000 hectares under vine, and I guess you know all Styrian wines. They are well known worldwide for the freshness, for the crispiness, for the minerality, which comes from these very special soils. There are designations for Qualitätswein, quality wine, since some time. This is Steiermark, like the bigger area. Then there is Südsteiermark DRC, Vulkanland Steiermark DRC und Weststeiermark DRC DAC, die regional Herkunft. Next slide, please. Yes, the system of regions, and in short terms, like almost every wine region in Austria is referring to that system by now. It is somehow the system, like Burgundy is well known for it. So we have the regional wines. It's the of course most quantity of Styrian wines. Then the village wines. And the top range is then the Riedenweine, or as we call the single vineyard wines. There are 9 grape varieties permitted in Styria for quality wine, which is Welschriesling, Weißburgunder, we call Pinot Blanc Weißburgunder in Austria, Morillon, which is the Styrian name for Chardonnay. Then there's Pinot Gris or Grauburgunder, Riesling, Gelber Muscatella, Sauvignon Blanc, of course. This is the most well-known grape variety of Styria. Then there's Traminer in a special part, very well-known Cloche, but Traminer is grown quite everywhere as well. And then there is the specialty blue grape, Blauer Wildbacher, which in the western Styria is produced as a rosé kind of wine, which is called Silcha. Thank you, Piotr. Next, please. Yes, we have 7 wineries to present today in alphabetical order. This is Weingut Lorenz, oder Michi Lorenz, the owner, Weingut Primus, Bloder Rosenberg, Weingut Thement, Czermonek, Schauer, and Wohlmuth. And maybe you can see it on the map on the left side. It's like we have Vulkanland Steiermark. There's one producer coming from, which is Bloder Rosenberg. And in the southern part, Steiermark, is the rest of them, and 3 of them are coming from a very special village, which is called Kitzek-Sausal. We'll come to that later, and there is no producer from Western Styria. Next, please, Piotr. Yes, as I said, Steiermark, there are 3 producers coming from Primus, Thement, and Czermonek. This is the little red spot. The one back, please. Again, it was too fast. The soil there is of slate, sand, marl, and limestone, and we have in about 2,700 hectares of vineyard. The next region we come from, Piotr, is part of this Südsteiermark, southern Styria, but it is peeking out of that region, and it is higher. It's up to 627 meters above sea level, and the soils over there are different. So they are different kinds of slate in grayish, in reddish, bluish, and special area, even steeper slopes, and it's little 425 hectares. And we have 3 producers coming from there, all from Kitzek. And then the last producer we are presenting is Weingut Bloder Rosenberg, and they are situated in the volcanic hillside of Styria, which is a bit bigger now, 1,671 vineyards. And as the name is pointing it out, it's from the soils are from extinct volcanoes. This is it quite from my side regarding Styria itself. We start tasting with the wines, and you see the bottles already. You can start pouring the wines if you feel like, and we will start with the winery of Primus, so the second wine from the left, which is in alphabetical order. So Christian Polt's winery Primus is our first producer, and he's having technical problems, so I have him in my ear only, and I will present him as the winery and the wine itself. If you have any questions, please ask me, and I will forward it to Christian in my right ear. Next slide, please. Yes, the winery is run by 2 brothers. On the left, you see Thomas. On the right, there is Christian. They took over the vineyard in 98 due to the early death of their father. So they were very, very young, 18 and 23 years old. So kids, it was not on their plans by then being owners of a winery, but of course they did it, and they did it quite well. They divided their competencies. Thomas is the one taking care of the vineyards and the marketing, and Christian, the proud one with his crossed arms, and in my ear, he is the cellar master. They own, right, that's him, the cellar master, and Christian. They own 16 hectares in Styria and 4 more hectares in Slovenia. So this is quite the extension of South Styria, Südsteiermark in Slovenia. The German word for that region is Untersteiermark, so it's lower Styria. It's in about the same soils, it's the same climate, of course, but of course it's a bit different. So they produce wines in both areas. Next slide. This is the really wonderful wine tavern they run over there. It's the mother and sister Elizabeth taking care of it. It's open for visitors. with appointments, and it's really, really special when you see the inner. It's historic. You can see the house is 600 years old, and it's very special from the inside as well. You have to go there and feel the atmosphere. What else about the two? Well, I think the soils is, as I said, it's sea sands and weathered shell limestone subsoils, calcareous and loamy shell limestone. So and they have good water supply over there, up to 800 milliliters a year. Well, let's come to the wine. This is Rizier Eck. Ried is the single vineyard name. The grape is Sauvignon Blanc, and it is vintage 2018, so quite aged, mature by now. The successor 2019 will be on the market by May of this year. In a total, they produce 2,000 bottles, and from like the 18th, there's about half a pallet, 300 bottles still in the cellar. The grapes were harvested in, like the last charge was harvested the 8th of October in 2018, and was very shortly macerated, like 6 hours. Gentle pressed, of course, as they do. Everything handcrafted with these steep slopes. You don't use machines, so it's they pick every grape by hand. They work every vine by hand, and I think you can feel that by tasting. I would say let's taste the wine, and if you have any questions, please go ahead.
So the total is 2,000 bottles.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not big quantities, but none of the wines in Styria, because the vineyards are rather small and steep, and so it is a small fractured area.
There's a question about the Abhof price, and I can deliver the Abhof price. This is 25 euro.
Right, 25 euros.
25 euros, yes.
Right.
Exactly. Right, and best food pairing ideas.
Christian, are you on the phone? Food pairing, zu welchem Essen würdest du den Wein empfehlen? Yeah, Christian said, well, it could be, since it is a bit strong already and mature, it goes well with meat as well, red meat, but white meat as well, or even spicy fish, fish, and should go with vegetables as well.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, good food pairing in many ways. Gerne.
And there's no importer by now.
No importer.
Looking for importer.
Right. And what we Primus was rated by James Suckling for the first time, and very high rate. So if you're interested, Kristen is happy to send you some of the tasting notes. So especially this one I think it got 94 points and is rated among the 100 best wines in Austria. I think it was placed 78 or so. So this was one of the first high international ratings. First rating.
Wow, great. Thank you very much. Any comments, folks? 94 points from Suckling.
Right.
Okay. Well, Sylvia, this is always the beginnings. Let's see.
Let's warm up by drinking a bit of wine. So enjoy,
Yeah,
enjoy the classes.
but not too much. Not too
Not
much.
too
Not too much. Good.
much.
So
Yeah.
let's pass to Weingut Tement now, if you don't mind. And Monica, Monica, are you with us? Monica Tement.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good evening.
So good evening also from my side, from Steiermark. I'm Monika Thement. We are running a family winery, actually directly at the border of Slovenia. So we can directly look to the other country. So we have a very special geographical location. Yes, some words about the winery itself. As I said, yes, the location, as you can see, Sylvia mentioned it already. The Steiermark is dominated by very steep slopes, which means that we can only work by hand. So the handcraft is very crucial for the quality in the wines at the end of the day. The family winery itself is the family history started in the 50s with Josef Tement, father of Manfred. It's my father-in-law, and Josef Tement unfortunately died very young. So Manfred has had to take over with the age of 16 years. So during the weeks, he went to school in Klosterneuburg, and in the weekends he had to work at home. And in order to afford all this winery stuff, they run a Buschenschank. I don't know if you have ever met or have you ever been to Südsteiermark, but the region is famous for these little inns. It's like similar like a Heureka, but you can only serve cold platters. So actually food you prepare by yourself and also wines you produce by yourself. And the thing was that in the 90s, the winery became more and more popular in Austria, but also internationally. And my father-in-law, Manfred, he invested every cent he earned in land. So he bought vineyards, and then the winery, here you can see him, the winery was able to grow. In 2005, my husband Armin joined the family winery and took over the production in 2008. And 2 years later, the younger son, Stefan, joined the winery too. And since they started working together, the three gentlemen, also the focus in terms to organic cultivation became more and more important. And since 2018, we have been certified organic and are already now in conversion to biodynamic cultivation. So coming now to the wine itself we are tasting today, it is a Morillon. Morillon means Chardonnay. So if you ever read Morillon on a label, you can expect it to be from Südsteiermark, because only in Südsteiermark we call it like this. It's a Chardonnay or a Morillon of single vineyard sorts, which is dominated by a very cool clay marl soil, which makes it special because the microclimate is quite warm. So this interaction between the cool soil and the warm climate is perfect for Burgundy grape varieties. And this makes the wine very elegant and charming. What can I say? Yeah, the wine itself was with natural, it was spontaneous fermentation. Was matured for 22, 24 months sur lie in neutral oak barrels, and was bottled unfiltered. But in general, most of the wines are bottled unfiltered, but you can expect a very clear, clear wine. Yeah, the taste is, it's very difficult to tell you how the wine tastes because you are all experts and know what you have on the palate. But for us, it's a really nice Chardonnay. It's elegant. Sometimes you have this interplay of wild herbs, apricot, and quince. What is very good in this vintage is that it is light in alcohol. So we're having around 12.5 alcohol. It's bone dry, and you're having a very nice compact acidity, which is for us good to drink. It's easy drinking, and but still it has a lot of extract and is very nice food companion for various kind of food like pasta, stew, meat, whatsoever. Yes, so that was quite fast. If you have any questions,
Well, there is. Thank you very much, Monica. There is a comment on in chat. I never liked Chardonnay, but now, after tasting this, it's perfect. So
you like it,
perfect.
then I'm happy.
There's a comment from Puro Hotel in Krakow, and yeah, very elegant indeed. And the Morillon is the Styrian name of
Yes,
Chardonnay. Just to explain,
yes,
so this
yes.
is some in a way it's an autochthon variety because this is
But it's
Styrian,
still it's Chardonnay, so
but it's still a Chardonnay, but it's a
yes,
Styrian Chardonnay. So this is a Morillon. Yeah,
yeah,
and tell me, you have an importer in Poland,
yes,
and this is Danubia Fine Wine
yes.
and Mr. Hapak. And the price, if we come to the seller as a private clients, consumers, this is about 29 euro, if I'm not. Yeah. And what about the number of bottle? How big is the production, more or less?
It always depends on the vintage itself, but for the 19, I think we are having about between 7 and 8,000 bottles.
7,000, 8,000. So this
No,
is
between 7 and
yeah,
eight
yeah,
thousand.
yeah. Got it. Between seven. Unexpected high for Chardonnay. Yeah.
I
Well,
think
well,
you mean
well, I think they like it.
they mean the acidity.
Quite high acidity. Ah, yes, I missed. Yeah.
It can be more. We sometimes do wines which are much more acidity, like that one. But I think it's in a good balance. The minerality sometimes, because the wines are so mineral, sometimes people expect that this is the acidity, but it's the interplay of minerality which comes from the soil.
Yeah, I think that the most important here is a certain purity. It's not the freshness itself. It's rather it's mineral aspects. Yeah, yeah. Well, any questions to Monica? Because she's gonna leave if you don't ask the questions.
I will be available on chat afterwards.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very interesting wine, and stay with us. Some questions will come, perhaps. Thank you very much, Monica. Well, and now Erwin Czermonek and Weingut Czermonek. Erwin, are you with us? Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Hi. Yes. Hello, Erwin.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Your time, and please go on. I disappear.
Okay. So that's our estate. That's our vineyards, our wine estate. We also have a small vineyard restaurant. It's called Buschenschank, and also a small hotel. Buschenschank with only cold meals. It's a kind of vineyard restaurant. This is the Klappertets. It's a sign for southern Styria, for the landscape of southern Styria. It's always green in southern Styria. The grass is growing because we have a lot of rainfall more rainfall than other countries in Austria. But we have also the most of sunshine days. So it's always very growy, very green. That's our employees. The harvest is always by hand in Styria. Yes, the vineyards on very steep slope hills, and so there is no machine. It's not possible to harvest with the machine. So that's the vineyard restaurant. Yes, that's in the cellar. Most of them we do with stainless steel. So also the wine we taste today, it's made in stainless steel. This is the small wooden cask where we do our single vineyards. That's our terrace.
A lovely terrace, I would say.
Yes, middle in the vineyards. And okay, that's our boxes with balloons. We can see
life's not bad in Steiermark. This is terrace and the inside is really impressive. So this is a part of hotel, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Open. An open hotel.
It's open and from spring to autumn time. It's closed in the winter time.
Okay, beautiful. The comments coming beautiful. Yeah, indeed.
So that's our wine we taste today, Sauvignon Blanc, Steiermark DRC 2020. It's a wine which is at the Gebietswein. It's a very, very light, fresh wine, very, very green. You can smell fresh green grass, nettles, gooseberry, green pepper. Also on the palate, it's a green style on the palate. Also, this wine it's very, very good comparing with fish, or things of fish and asparagus and a lot of food which is not so aromatic. And wine is it's not too high in alcohol. It's very light. It's very fresh and drinky. Very clear in the nose. You can smell it. It's the fresh elderberry flowers, green pepper.
But that's a lovely nose, I would say. It's it's very extrovertic. It's well. There's some comments in German. Well, from Opole, I believe, and very, very nice. And the price of this wine, is it 11.10 euro?
Yes, it's right.
So this is well, approachable for Austria, I would say. It's
yes. But it is in the classic Liga. This wine it's not a single vineyard, it's a classic Liga. It's very fresh and drinky wine.
Yeah, but that's it's well done. It's let me call it simple pleasure, right? It's a good. Well, yeah,
that's okay.
Okay, and 30,000 bottles total production, right?
Yes, that's right.
And you're looking for importer here.
It's no importer.
Yeah. So, any comments, guys? Very inviting. Very inviting. This is about the wine or about the hotel? Oh. Okay. Wow. So very laconic, Eva, today. I'm not sure. Wine, not wow. Sorry, I'm blind. Good. Okay, wine, very inviting. Good. Thank you, Erwin, and stay with us if there is any questions in chat coming.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And now, Michi Lawrence and Weingut Michi Lawrence. Wine. Sorry. Why the letters are so small in chat? Michi Lawrence, hello. Can we see Michi Lawrence? Yes. Now this is Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia.
Did you get him in? Because in the beginning I said he has switched to his tablet and maybe there's some technical problems. Can you try again?
He's on 2 devices.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mili and Michi. Okay. And Michi, hello.
We give him a call.
Okay. So Michi, the icons, the buttons. Press the buttons if you can see the buttons. You've got the rights. Well, what about the first wines, folks, from Poland? In the meantime, is coming. He is coming. Nishi?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you
hello.
hear me?
Hear you.
So
Can't see you, but
that's
hear
the
you.
most important thing.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening.
I hope.
Hear.
Yeah.
And now we can see you. Yes. Hi.
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
So I'm sorry, but I have some technical problems, and yeah, I try to do my best, and I hope it works.
Yeah.
So,
go on.
Oh, now I can see me too. So it's nice. Yes. Where should we start? I want to tell you something about our wine estate. Can you hear me? Because okay. We have
Everything
a
is
very
fine.
old wine estate, so we found a document from 1520.
Well, Michi, I'm afraid you're frozen. Please turn off the camera and stay on microphone only. Okay? Because we can't hear you, and you're completely frozen. Well, there is some technical issue. So perhaps we should come back to Michi in a while. And now let's
Right.
ask him.
I'm trying to get him on the phone and
Yeah, ask him please to log out and come back. Perhaps he hears. Okay, so I'm asking another winery, right? And yes, and another winery, next winery. This is Bernard and Weingut Shower. Bernard, are you with us? Hello, Bernard. Hello. Yes, hi. Good evening. So you are.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and you are saving the word now. So go on, please.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Steiermark in this case. Hello to all of you in Poland. My name is Bernhard Schauer. On the photo, you can see me and my brother. We are the operators and the owner of the Weingut Schauer. Actually, as you might see, this is a photo shooting picture on the slide. Reality looks a bit different. This is where this photo gives you a nice overview of the landscape where we produce wine. And this vineyard you can see on that photo is also the Riedgeisregel. So that's the vineyard where the wine we will taste later is grown. This vineyard is located to southeast, and southwest. But I will tell you a bit more later about this vineyard in detail. Another picture of the landscape around our winery. Just a few words about what makes the Schauer wine so special. It's, as Sylvia mentioned before, it's the altitude. So our vineyards start at an altitude from 420 meters, and they go up to 620 meters. Another thing that is very special about the Kitzek-Sausal area in Steiermark is simply the fact that due to the high altitude, we have a long and slow growing period, which means we harvest around 2 weeks later than the rest of Steiermark. And that leads me to Riesling wine growing. As you all might know, Riesling needs a long growing period, and so Riesling has ideal conditions in Kitzek-Sausal. Another thing that is very, very special about the area is the fact that due to the very steep slopes, there is a tradition for wine growing on terraces as well, as you can see on that picture. So there's around, I would say, 20% of the vineyards in our area are terraces. Okay. Yeah, of course, as my colleagues already mentioned before, harvest is all done by hand. Our winery, how do we work in the vineyards? We started conversion to organic wine growing in 2021. That means our first wines will be organic certified with vintage 2023. So far, we are, of course, certified Sustainable Austria. This is another very special thing about our area. All the wines are grown on slate soil. It's like it used to be an island raging out of the sea a million years ago. So there's not a lot of sand or humus. It's a very, very stony area. Therefore, we have quite low yields in our vineyards. So the yield is quite low, even for entry-level wines. We do have a mix in our wine cellar when it comes to vinification. So of course we have stainless steel tanks, and on the other side we're getting more and more oak barrels, as you can see on that picture. This one, that's an old one. It's around 30 years old. The wine we have in the glass right now was fermented and aged in such a big oak barrel. This one was in the barrel for around 1.5 years on the yeast. Yeah, and some of you may ask themselves, why are they doing Riesling? Steiermark is so famous for Sauvignon Blanc. I agree. Steiermark is very famous for Sauvignon Blanc, but we do have a very, very long Riesling tradition due to the factors I told you before in the appellation Kitzek-Sausal. We do have documents, we do have a book of an professor dating back 1819 where he says that Riesling is the most grown variety in Kitzek-Sausal. At our winery, we do have around 7 hectares of Riesling, which is around 25 to 30% of our whole production. 2019 vintage. I think my colleagues agree that 2019 was an outstanding vintage in Styria. We're still discussing if 2017 or 2019 was the better, but the future will tell us the truth. In general, our style of wine is a very, very straightforward, acidity-driven style of wine. Shower wines or wines from Kitzek-Sausal are never fat. Shower wines and Kitzek-Sausal wines are always like elegant, full of finesse, and even though they're like low in alcohol and elegant, they are very deep and structured, and that is a very special interplay of the high altitude, the slate soil, and the microclimate in the Kitzek-Sausal area. So, anything else to say?
Tavi, if I can ask you a question, which region or which wines are a benchmark for you? Is it I don't know, Wachau or Austrian, any other Austrian regions, or this is German Rieslings? If you have any benchmark or.
Of course, my colleagues like Wormuth, who is coming later, and we trying to define our own style of Riesling. But if you really want to compare it, please don't compare it with like Rieslings from the Danube region, from Wachau, because it's much, much warmer there. You can't compare. I would definitely compare it a bit with like German wine growing regions, like southern parts of the Pfalz or some areas in the Rheingau Valley. That's more a benchmark for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question. What are your most important markets?
Of course, we do of course Austria and the European Union, like 10 countries in the European Union, but Austria, of course, is number one. We do have a very, very good import in the United States. Our wines are available in all 52 states by a very nice fine wine importer. And then we do a bit of export to Asia, mainly Japan. And that's but we are not available and not imported in Poland so far. And of course, we're looking for a partner in Poland. So please do not hesitate to get in contact.
Yeah, let's believe it may change soon. And
another word about this wine. This is, when it comes to Riesling, this is the high-end segment of our winery. It is the private customer price is 36 euros.
Okay.
And we do have, in general, we do have a range from 14 euros to 36 when it comes to Riesling. Sauvignon Blanc is like from 10 euros to 36 euros, depending on the quality level.
Okay. And total production of this wine? This is
It's 2,000 bottles.
2,000 bottles, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I
Well,
hope you like it.
oh yes, I did. Thank you, Bernard. I hope
Thank you.
you folks liked it too, or not. Anyway, say your comments. Lovely wine. Yes.
Thanks very much.
Well,
Thanks.
this is really a touch of Steiermark. Let's say it's if you
It's a
if you read
hidden
the
gem
comment,
of Steiermark.
and this is completely different than the other Austrian regions and wines we have tasted by now till now. Right. Thank you, Bernard. Let's try with Michi Lawrence. Anybody who wants to ask for anything, please write in chat. Michi, hello.
Hello, I hope it works.
Now it works, and if it
Oh.
stops, let's
Good.
finger crossed. Yeah, go on.
Good.
Please.
So, I try to do my best. Okay. Where should I start? So, yeah, our winery is in the south part of Sausal. Bernard told you a lot of things about our region. We have a lot of schist, so the wine here is a lot with a lot of minerality. Our vineyards are above 450 and 620 meter sea level, and yes, we're doing the whole typical Styrian grapes, so from Welsh Riesling to Sauvignon Blanc, Muscatella, and all this Chardonnay and all these Burgundies, and we're working organic, and since harvest 2021 we are certified Demeter member, and yes, so we try to make a lot of raw wine and natural wine, so yeah.
Okay, sorry for interrupting you. Questions in the chat. Is this wine not filtered and tastes similar to the orange wine? Yeah. So.
Yes, of course. So this wine is unfiltered. It's also spontaneous fermentation, and it's also skin contact. So this is the grape Welsh Riesling. And we had the fermentation on skins, so 14 days. And after pressing it, we take 5% whole grapes and put it in the stainless tank and leave it there for 1 year. And after that, we took it from the tank and bottled it and gave just 25 milligram of sulfur. Is this for the question? Is this okay? Yeah.
It's okay. Just one note. The label you have on the photo and the label on the photo are different, but this is the same wine, Revoluza. And this, yeah.
Of course, yes. This is a little bit a problem because the print company could bring us could produce at the moment the original label. This is the original label, and for the moment we just have the normal Lawrence label for the classic wines. But so I hope in the next few weeks we get the original label back, and then yeah, we can get this. So to the wine, yes, what can I say? It's a natural wine, and yeah, you can feel the smokiness that's typical for the Sausal schist, and a lot of minerality and a nice acidity, and yes, that's That's what I want to say at the moment. Yeah, it's not easy because I can't get a feedback.
Yeah,
We have some
that's
technical problems. Sorry for that.
that's not easy. I understand you perfectly.
Yeah.
Tell me the price of this wine, Michi.
So this wine is at cellar
It's stellar, yeah. If I come to you,
24.
24, right?
Yeah, and we had a lot of different naturals. We make a normal classic wine, but with demeter conditions, and we make a lot of natural wine at the moment. So from low budget, easy drinking to high end. So above 12 to 38 at the moment.
And the total production of this wine?
This of the Revoluta, we produce 2,500 bottles.
2,500.
Yeah.
Right. And you have no importer.
At the moment, we don't have an importer, but we're still searching and hope that someone like it and know someone.
So read the comments in the chat. I'm not a big fan of orange type of wine, but this very unique, intrigues and complex wine, etc. So if you see the comment.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And yes, and this is a professional question. Can we know the export price from importer? But this is perhaps in private chat more likely.
Of course, I think you get my email or how can we do this? But yeah, you will get.
That's I will contact you afterwards. Well, thank you, Michi. So always the second entrance is better than the first one. So you're a lucky, lucky guy.
Thank you. Sorry for the mistake, but I hope you like it. So,
very well. Let me thank you and hope to see you soon here or there. And now Gerhard Wolmuth and Weingut Wolmuth. Gerhard? Yes. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. This is your time. Go on, please.
Okay. So actually, I'm quite very close to the winery Michi Lorenz, so also in the village Kitzek-Sausal. And the special thing about this village appellation is that it's very high in sea altitude, very, very steep, and the very barren slate and schist soil, so it's a phyllite soil. And our winery is already since 1803 in family owned. And we manage 55 hectares and 100% is estate bottled. So as the others, we try to work as close to nature as possible. And we have very historical single vineyards, which are referred already for centuries as one of the best within Styria. And the Sauvignon Blanc I present today to you, it's a Sauvignon Blanc from the Ried Hochsteinriegel. Translated, it means very, very steep stony hill, actually, because the word hoch means high, but in our dialect it also means very, very steep. And what is very special about this vineyard is that it's completely open to the Alps. It's nearly pure south facing with a very special microclimate. And you have very big temperature differences between day and night. And it's located on a sea altitude on 500 meters above sea level. So the vineyard is mainly managed by hand, of course, because of the steepness. picking of the grapes, as all our grapes are picked by hand, of course, to reach the highest quality. Most important for this vineyard, actually, as you can see here on the picture, it's the soil. So it's really very, very stony soil, very barren. And through that, the wines really have to fight for water. And especially, I think, on the single vineyards within Kitzig-Sausal, the very unique vintage character is always transferred, because even although we have a lot of rainfall in our area, during summer there are periods of 3, 4, 5 weeks where we nearly have no rain and very hot temperatures. And actually on loamy soil, you don't really feel it that much, because loamy soil keeps the water better. And on our very barren slate soils, the water is very quickly gone. And through that, you can taste even these dry phases during the vegetation. And that makes it, for me, very unique and gives a very special tannin structure. What you can see also in the picture, it's that there are a lot of quartz stones. So this stone actually comes directly from this vineyard. So you have the slate, but there are a lot of quartz stones in there. Yeah, we say we are rich in stones. In German, it means very rich, but actually, I think the soil we have is really very unique, because it's for more than 400 million years old. And actually, it's Kitzig-Sausal, so the Sausal mountain, because it's part of the Alps, but actually it's one of the oldest part of the Alps. So it was already built up the first time millions of years before the Alps came out. And actually it's the same soil as we have on the Großglockner or in Kitzbühel. The wine, actually, the grapes are picked very late, completely ripe, but not overripe. So I try always to pick it on the peak of ripeness. That means that it's before botrytis starts, and even before concentration starts. So still they are very crispy and healthy, and that's how the grapes should be, and very tasty, of course. But through the high sea altitude, actually, we have a very long vegetation period, even in hotter vintages. That's a big advantage, actually, even in warmer years, which are getting more often now. And yeah, after harvesting, actually, in the press house, we don't crush the grapes, so we press full bunches, and then it's spontaneous fermentation in Startin, which is some kind of demi-muid, so 500, 600 liter casks, very traditional in our area, and it stays for 18 months on the lease. So our wines are always very, I think, very finesseful, but also complex. And actually, they are really made for combination with food. That's the main goal for us. And yeah, we export quite a lot. So about 40% of the production is exported to 20 different countries. And yeah, we would be very happy to do more on your market. And I hope you enjoyed the wine.
Okay, thank you very much, Gerard. Thank you very much. This tell me the total production of this wine.
Okay.
How much? You're frozen. Yeah.
So are there any questions, or?
Well, if you hear me,
Piotr, I can't hear you.
Okay. Right. So now, do you hear me? Hello, 1, 2, 3. Hello. You can hear me.
So in meantime, as I don't hear anything, I show you a few pictures. So maybe I just show you a picture from our landscape. So it's really very, very beautiful and very steep. Yeah, I just was asked how much we produce. So from this wine, actually, we just use the very old wines, which is about 1 hectare, and we just do about 3,500 bottles a year or 4,000 bottles a year maximum. So that's the annual production. So it's quite tiny, but it's one of our top single vineyard wines we have in our assortment.
Yeah.
But
And the price is, if you hear me now.
yeah,
You hear me. Good.
the price
Great.
is
Yeah.
32 euros for private customers.
Okay.
And yeah, I think maybe the people can keep it a little bit in the glass because it's really a wine which has a big evolution. And even with temperature change and air contact, you get more and more flavors. And that's the way how we are focused on our wines. So they are quite fragile, so very finesseful, but still very complex. But it's never a bump. So it's really more like I would say. So it's really, yeah, very, very elegant, very finesseful. That's the goal we try to reach in our wines, to reflect the minerality, and especially Sauvignon Blanc. I think it's really a unique variety, which is quite difficult because there is a lot of bad Sauvignon Blancs on the market because it really gets very easily one-dimensional. But I think on a unique soil and microclimate and in the right hands of winemakers with lower yield, it's one of the varieties which can really reflect the origin. And the special thing about our Sauvignon Blanc, and also this is, I think, the interplay between warm and cool characters. So the warm characters actually from the ripeness of the grapes and the influence of the south. And the cool characteristics are coming from the soil, so the spiciness, and of course the influence of the Alps, which are very close, and the vineyard is also very open, and a high sea altitude.
Great. Thank you. Gerard, see the comments coming in the chat. If you see the chat, excellent, sincere, good comment, very French in style. And indeed, very, very great minerality, very dimensional.
Yeah, right. Actually, Sauvignon Blanc is in Styria very, very important. And I'm really very happy about last year's Wine Searcher results, where they released in January the top 10 Sauvignon Blancs of the world. And if you go back 5 or 10 years, actually, there was just one Styrian winery or two. And this year, actually, there have been, I think, 5 or 6 of the top 10 Sauvignon Blancs of the world from Styria. So really good colleagues. And I think internationally, we are very well known for it. And I hope that in the future people say about French Sauvignon Blancs that they have if they are good, they have a Styrian characteristic.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gerard. Well, one day, it may come.
One day, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just for the records, you have already a small importer in Krosno, Dystrybucja. Yeah, this is rather working on local market, I believe, but it's a brave Marcin Mączyński. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice tasting.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to contact Gerard, contact him in chat here. And now Manuel. Well, Manuel, I don't know. Manuel from Plodder, Rosenberg. Hello. Hi.
Hello, good evening, Pierre.
Good evening. You're the last, but you are in best position. In the best position. The time is unlimited for you. Go on.
Thank you, Pierre, to make a good red chain this evening. Hello, everybody. Thank you that you're joining. Yeah, my name is Manuel from the winery Plodder Rosenberg. We are located in the volcanic part of Austria. It's the east, in Styria, the east part. And I'm thankful to can show you our region. It's quite full of other wine growers, so I'm thankful that I'm the one who gives you a little view into our region. And it's completely different to the south part, where we're listening and tasting the last collects. So we have more feminine hills and a little bit of steep ones, but it's the more characterful is the feminine hills and high biodiversity and the agriculture. And the soils in our region are, like the name says, in the underground volcanic soil, and upper it's sand and gravels. In the north part of the region you can find also a little bit schist. And in my region I'm very down to the border to Slovenia. It's just 10 kilometers, so I have also a nice view there. And our soils are, when you look at it, they come from the primary sea when it left, and the volcanic soil you find 10 meters down. Here, the landscape and the history of the wines is, how to say, I want to say that the average amount of vineyards a wine grower in our region here in the east part is doing around 1 or 1.5 hectares. So it's quite little. And there are a couple of very innovative and very good wine growers. They do a couple of more hectares, but it shows you the relevation that it's a kind of a niche area. So also it starts to get more and more popular after the war in Slovenia after '93. So till those time it was a very quiet region and focused on agriculture and stuff like that. Yeah, to our winery, I am the third generation of the winery, and we like to spend our time. Of course, we are wine growers, so we are mainly in the vineyard and focused and handled with wine. But next to them, we like to gardening and like to ferment different food and vegetables and stuff like that. And in the winter months, like now, we like to read or take a nice bath in the icy water, a little jump to fresh up a little bit, or dance and stuff like that. And when we care about our vineyards, we love biodiversity. So we look to have a high biodiversity up at the soil, because also down the soil itself, it's very mixed. So we have vineyards, you find 3 different types of soils in it. So it makes it quite complex, one vineyard or one variety itself to harvest it and to handle it in the cellar. It's also the big fun of that all. So at our vineyards, we do 11 hectares of vineyards focusing on white grapes. And also We have a very hard pulse for PV grapes. It's the nickname for fungi-resistant grapes. And here we cultivate also more than 7 different varieties. So in total on the 11 hectares, we handle more than 14, 15 varieties. And this, all different varieties, we focusing that in the cellar to 3 wine lines. So we have our fundamental wine line, then the second one we call linear line, and the third one is called archaic line, what means on the skin fermented wines out of white grapes.
Sorry for interrupting you, but there is a first comment coming. Very nice wine. See some future in orange wines. So
yeah, orange wine is for me fermented on the skins for more than 1 month. And the Vivas, the wine we have now in the glass, is only with the maturation of a couple of hours. So we're talking about 20 up to 30 hours of maturation, and then we press it and ferment it in the stainless steel tank. Yeah, all our wines in those 3 lines are, let's say, natural wine is the common word now. So they vinificated low technical, without temperature control and without fining or filtering or stuff like that. And we see it like you can compare to honey from the bees. Honey is like a mirror of the landscape of all those different flowers you can find in the honey. And wine is a kind like that with the grapes and all those different of microorganisms you find on the grapes and in the air around our place. And so we are focusing to get that out as naturally as possible with the microorganisms flora which is here on our farm, because that is also one point to liveness of wines and vibrating and get touched of the wines. Yeah, to the wine Vivas, it's a wine out of our fundamental line, so the basic line. And our basic line is separate in 2 wines, Cara and Vivas. Vivas is the aromatic, an aromatic blend. In this vintage, it's vintage 19 of 4 different grapes. And it's all aromatic grapes, so of course it's nearly jumping out of the glass. And for everybody who loves aromatic wines, it's one good opportunity. And those guys who like more the quiet wines and the Burgundy style wines, they would be more at home at our blend Cara, I would say. And Vivas is low in alcohol, so it's something for an aperitif or on quite hot days to at a nice party with some friends, and something to glue and, you know, everywhere you drink an easy wine, I will say, because of its alcohol and stuff like that. So it's not those high complex stuff. For that we have other wine lands at our winery. This is to have a good day and join the time with others. And yeah, so I thank you for you listening me, and hopefully you get touched by the wine and feel good and have a good evening, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel. Tell me one thing: the price for the private consumer
The price
coming
of this wine is 15 euros.
And the total production of this wine is more or less
Yeah, we do how I'd say 11 hectares of vineyards, and those biodynamics since 2006. So we talk of harvest amounts each hectare between 2 and 3,500 bottles. So it's separate to our 3 different lines. We start with 500, 800 bottles at our archaic line, and around 1,500 bottles at our linear line, and the fundamental line, the basic, is around 5 up to 8,000 bottles.
Okay. So first comments, very nice wine. Yeah, this was already, but very nice tasting. Thank you all very much. Yeah, this is not finished yet, guys. Stay with us. Very interesting presentation.
Thank you. That was good.
No. Don't
No,
go
feel
home.
welcome, and hopefully you get a picture or more a feeling of volcanic area and those vibrations which are going on here. We are a very innovative region, and we are keeping going on, and you're welcome, and we will see you here.
And what about the wine tourism there in Vulcanland?
Everybody who respects nature is welcome.
Everybody who respects nature is welcome.
Respect
Okay.
nature and keep eye on eye, and
So I should come on
we are
bike.
humans, and we are in symbiosis with everything around us. So we have to be respectful, and then everything goes good.
Good. Thank you very much, Manuel. And
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Well, you have no importer by now in Poland. You're looking for importer. The price
Not
is
by
free.
now looking. Yeah, maybe we will be a part of a fair this year, but the fair is not fixed yet. So hopefully make some trouble in Poland, that we can come to Poland and see each other and taste next to each other. Would be nice.
Yeah. And the fair is in Warsaw, in Krakow.
I don't have it in my mind now. The question is too fast.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
You will see it on our Instagram account or something when it's fixed. So
good. Stay in contact and gentlemen, what are in comments in chat? We hope to see you soon in Poland. And there is a long post here. I have known that Austria is famous for Grüner Veltliner. But well, yes, not only Grüner Veltliner. Surprising me, they're good in Sauvignon Blanc. Yes, ma'am. They are good in Sauvignon Blanc. This is the renowned chef from Szczecin city. Yeah, culinary chef. Well, that was the tasting of Steiermark, and that's it for today. I can't see. Well, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Manuel. Sylvia.
Okay, if I click out. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, Manuel. Thank you. Sylvia.
Thanks from my part as well. I hope you enjoyed the wines. I guess you did. We could see it in the comments as well. We'll continue working on this area, right, Piotr? There will be a tasting of Vulcanland soon. And maybe
yes, Vulcanland. Vulcanland is something I have on my heart. Yeah,
maybe not Styria alone, maybe in combination of a different area. We'll have to discuss on that, but there will be some Styrian wines for sure.
Yeah, and there is a comment from there is a post from Michi Lawrence. Very important. You are all, of course, invited to visit us in Steiermark. So, Michi, never say that. Never say that. one day we come. 120 people from Poland in one bus. Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you very much, and well, see you soon, Sylvia. And
See you soon. Have a nice evening and keep enjoying the wines, I hope.
yeah, thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye bye.